In the spring of 2011, Emma, a seasoned traveler in her early 30s, decided to treat herself to a luxurious cruise across the Caribbean. Having spent years working in a high-stress corporate job, she yearned for a break to clear her mind and rejuvenate her spirit. The SS Mariner Asterisk, known for its grandeur and impeccable service, promised the perfect getaway. With its expansive decks, world-class dining, and an itinerary that included stops at some of the most beautiful islands in the Caribbean, it was everything she needed. The first few days aboard the SS Mariner Asterisk were like a dream. Emma quickly made friends with fellow passengers, including a retired couple named the Thompsons, who were celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary, and a group of college friends on their last adventure before graduation. Days were filled with sunbathing by the pool, exploring the ship's many entertainment options, and indulging in gourmet meals prepared by renowned chefs. One night, after enjoying a lively dinner show, Emma decided to take a walk on the promenade deck before heading to her cabin. It was a clear night, the stars glittering like diamonds against the inky black sky. The sea was calm, the gentle sound of waves lapping against the hull providing a soothing soundtrack to her thoughts. She strolled along the deck, savoring the cool breeze and the peaceful solitude. As she rounded a corner, she noticed a man standing alone by the railing, staring out at the sea. He was dressed in an old-fashioned suit, complete with a waistcoat and pocket watch chain, which seemed out of place among the casual attire of the other passengers. Intrigued by his appearance, Emma approached him. "Good evening," she greeted with a friendly smile. "Good evening," he replied, his voice deep and smooth, with a peculiar accent she couldn't quite place. "Beautiful night, isn't it?" They struck up a conversation, and Emma learned that his name was Jack. He spoke in a manner that was both charming and enigmatic, as if he belonged to another time. Jack shared that he had always loved the ocean, calling it both beautiful and treacherous. His gaze often drifted back to the sea, a wistful expression on his face. "Have you been on many cruises?" Emma asked. "A few," he replied vaguely, his eyes never leaving the horizon. "The sea holds many secrets." Before Emma could respond, she felt a sudden chill run down her spine. She turned to look behind her but saw nothing unusual. When she turned back, Jack was gone. She looked around puzzled, but there was no sign of him. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Disturbed by the strange encounter, Emma returned to her cabin. She tried to put the incident out of her mind, but she couldn't shake the eerie feeling. The next day, she casually asked some of the other passengers if they had seen Jack, describing his distinctive attire. To her surprise, no one had seen anyone matching his description. Determined to solve the mystery, Emma visited the ship's information desk and asked if there was a passenger named Jack aboard. The staff checked the manifest and confirmed that there was no one by that name registered on the cruise. Emma felt a shiver of unease. Who was the man she had spoken to? Over the next few days, Emma couldn't let go of the encounter. She spent her evenings on the promenade deck, hoping to see Jack again, but he never appeared. She started talking to the ship's crew, inquiring if they had heard any stories about a mysterious passenger. One of the older crew members, a steward named Carlos, pulled her aside. "You're not the first one to see him," Carlos said quietly. "They say he's a ghost." Emma's heart skipped a beat. "A ghost?" Carlos nodded. "The story goes that many years ago, a passenger named Jack went overboard during a storm. His body was never found, and his spirit still haunts the ship, looking for peace." Emma felt a chill as Carlos told her the tale. According to the legend, Jack had been a young man who fell in love with a woman aboard the ship. They had planned to run away together, but on the night of the storm, Jack disappeared. Some say he was pushed, others believe he jumped, but no one knows for sure. The story haunted Emma. She spent hours researching the ship's history, digging through old newspapers and records. She discovered that the SS Mariner Asterisk had indeed been the site of several mysterious disappearances over the years. Passengers had reported seeing strange figures, hearing whispers in the night, and feeling an inexplicable sense of dread. One evening, as the cruise neared its end, Emma decided to take one last walk on the promenade deck. She stood by the railing where she had first met Jack, looking out at the vast, dark ocean. She whispered a silent prayer for his soul, hoping he could find peace. As she stood there lost in thought, she felt a presence beside her. She turned and saw Jack standing there, his expression as sad and wistful as ever. "Thank you," he said softly, "for remembering me." Before Emma could respond, Jack vanished once again. She stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where he had been, a sense of calm washing over her. When the cruise ended, Emma disembarked with a strange sense of closure. She knew she had experienced something extraordinary, something that defied explanation. She shared her story with friends and fellow travelers, and while some believed her and others didn't, she knew what she had seen. The mystery of the lost passenger remained unsolved, a chilling tale of love, loss, and the restless spirits that sometimes linger on the edge of our world. Emma never forgot Jack and the time they shared, however brief. She continued to travel, always with an eye out for the unexplained, forever changed by her encounter with the ghost of the SS Mariner. In the summer of 2015, Lisa, a young journalist, decided to take a much-needed vacation on a luxury cruise ship named the *SS Atlantic*. She had been working tirelessly on a series of investigative reports and needed a break to recharge. The *SS Atlantic* promised a perfect escape with its state-of-the-art facilities, gourmet dining, and stops at picturesque Mediterranean ports. The first few days were idyllic. Lisa enjoyed sunbathing on the deck, exploring the ship's many attractions, and making friends with fellow passengers. She particularly bonded with an elderly couple, the Bennetts, who were celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary, and a group of young professionals from various parts of the world. One evening, Lisa attended a formal dinner in the ship's grand ballroom. The room was adorned with crystal chandeliers, rich tapestries, and elegant tables set with fine china and silverware. During the dinner, she overheard snippets of conversation about a mysterious, abandoned section of the ship. Intrigued, she decided to investigate. The next night, armed with her camera and a flashlight, Lisa set out to explore the restricted area. She navigated through the ship's labyrinthine corridors, descending deeper into its bowels. The air grew colder, and the lighting became dimmer as she approached the forgotten part of the vessel. Eventually, she reached a heavy, rusted door marked with a faded no-entry sign. Lisa pushed the door open, and it creaked loudly, echoing down the deserted hallway. She stepped inside, her flashlight casting eerie shadows on the walls. The area appeared to be an old storage space, filled with dusty furniture, cobwebs, and boxes of forgotten items. As she moved deeper into the room, she noticed something strange, a series of old photographs pinned to a bulletin board. The photos depicted a group of passengers and crew members from decades past, all smiling and enjoying the cruise. But one photo stood out. It showed a young woman standing on the ship's deck, looking directly at the camera with a sad, haunted expression. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. The woman's eyes seemed to bore into her soul. Just as she was about to take a closer look, she heard a faint whisper. She turned around, but no one was there. The whispering grew louder, a cacophony of voices overlapping, as if trying to communicate with her. Lisa's heart raced, and she stumbled backward, knocking over a box. Its contents spilled onto the floor, revealing a stack of old journals. Curiosity overcame her fear, and Lisa picked up one of the journals. It belonged to a young woman named Eleanor, who had been a passenger on the *SS Atlantic* in the 1930s. As Lisa read the entries, a chilling story began to unfold. Eleanor had fallen in love with a crew member named Thomas, but their romance was doomed from the start. One stormy night, Thomas disappeared without a trace, and Eleanor, heartbroken, was found dead in her cabin the next morning. Lisa felt a cold breeze brush against her cheek, and she looked up to see the ghostly figure of a young woman standing in the corner of the room. It was Eleanor, her eyes filled with sorrow. The apparition slowly moved toward Lisa, her hand outstretched, as if pleading for help. Fighting her fear, Lisa spoke softly. "Eleanor, what do you need?" The ghostly figure stopped and pointed to a small, ornate box on a nearby shelf. Lisa retrieved the box and opened it to find a locket containing a picture of Eleanor and Thomas. She realized that Eleanor's spirit was trapped, unable to move on until her story was known and her love remembered. Determined to help, Lisa took the locket and promised to share Eleanor's story with the world. As she did, the apparition of Eleanor smiled, her form slowly dissipating into the air. The whispering voices ceased, and an eerie silence filled the room. The next day, Lisa shared her experience with the ship's captain and the Bennetts, who were both shocked and fascinated. She wrote an article detailing the tragic love story of Eleanor and Thomas, and it quickly gained attention. Passengers and crew alike paid their respects, and a small memorial was set up in their honor. As the SS Atlantic continued its journey, Lisa felt a sense of peace. She had not only uncovered a piece of the ship's hidden history, but had also helped a lost soul find rest. The cruise ended on a high note, and Lisa returned home with a story that was both haunting and unforgettable. Years later, she still remembers the chilling encounter and the eerie whispers that led her to uncover the tragic love story. The SS Atlantic remains a popular cruise ship, with passengers often sharing tales of the mysterious happenings and paying their respects at Eleanor and Thomas's memorial, keeping their memory alive.